First of all, I want to apologize for the noise over next door. They're doing some construction and such. I just want to I don't know if you are subscribed to either the Invenum channel or the Efilist channel or the Anekantavad channel. Anekantavad and Gary, who has various channels, including the Invenum channel and the Efilist channel. Anekantavad and Gary will often have various arguments, and they will include various video responses in these arguments. That's just how they, that's just kind of what they do, I guess. It's like seriously a lot of video responses between both of them. And sometimes you'll get Professor Anhunt in there or conference report in there, but mainly, like, I feel like a lot of the time, or almost most of the time, when Anekantavad posts a video, Gary almost always will have a response video. It's that common. But pretty much, Gary, I don't know if you know those channels, but he is one of many antinatalists on YouTube. Also, you have My Misery and Me, Derived Energy, as well as various ones who don't do videos but just comment. Essentially, if you watch, I'll put one of my favorite videos from Gary is that it's called "We Have the Power to Free Sisyphus." I'll put that down there. That's kind of maybe a video that's like a month or two old, but I think it's a very good video that he does. It's one of his videos where he's walking, but it's a good video because he he says why what he thinks that the antinatalist agenda is, and he kind of discusses his views. Basically, the antinatalist view is that the things of this world, all of these things and the pain and the suffering that come from this world and are inflicted on us, that create negative value states, is what he calls it, a negative value states. There's nothing you can really do about it. You're always going to have suffering, and there's nothing. Basically, the phrase "happiness is a choice" is not true. It's not true for him. That no matter what you can do in here, that this world and all the suffering and pain that it has is always going to cause some sort of a negative value state on you. And then there will be some positive value states, but they'll be temporary and artificial to an extent. And essentially, what what he thinks that we have to do is we have to dwindle down procreation. We have to tell people that we impose life on a being who was previously non-sentient, and we impose life on that being by procreating and bringing in having kids. Really is what it is, and that we impose we impose pain and suffering on them, and that we should dwindle it down. We should get the message out and tell everybody what they're doing when they have kids, when they procreate. And that he said one time in one of his videos, because to antinatalists, one of the big questions they get, why don't you kill yourself? Which is not a correct thing to say, because that's not what they're saying. He said why do I not kill myself? Because, or why do I not close up shop? Because I want to get the word out. I want to spread my cause. I want to say why do I think that procreation is bad, or all these things. I want to make as much effect as I can, is what he's saying, on the world before I die. And and then my misery and me, I had a dialogue with him not too long ago. He said that, even though we are antinatalists, we still try to make the most out of our life and have as good of a life as we can, even though we because of the pain and suffering that has been experienced. We have the understanding that this place is not good to impose life on somebody. There's not enough pleasure here. There's no reason for even possibly imposing life and all that pain and suffering on somebody who was previously non-sentient, and it's not fair, and it's imposition. And basically, Anekantavad responds, and kind of when Gary does a video, what Anekantavad will do is, or either one of them will make a video, and then the other will respond, or vice versa. But then Anekantavad will have various videos where he will kind of say that, in a video back in April, he said that if we are not trying to if we are not trying to be happy, if we're not trying to gain positive value states in our minds, and managing our pain and suffering, I guess that's one way to put it, and not, he says not ignoring all of our problems, but managing them, essentially, is what he says. But that's I don't think he used the word managing, but he says pretty much what he was saying is to gain a positive value state. He says that if we are not trying to gain positive value states or being happy, then there's something mentally deficient of that person. And I guess what I want to think about is about this argument that goes on between those two. Basically, it's like I said, Gary is saying that no matter what goes on in this world, there's nothing we can do in here that will manage this. There's nothing we can do in here that will positively turn that negative value state into a positive value state. But Anekantavad, on the other hand, is saying that we can do a lot of things that can turn that negative value state into positive value states, thus managing suffering. And I want to think about that a little bit, as to which one is most true. I guess when I want to think about this, I want to think about, like, the worst possible suffering, like getting your legs blown off in war, or getting such painful disease, or having a or let's say having a, or not having a child, but being really close with a friend and then losing him, that kind of pain, that sort of emotional and physical pain. Let's refer specifically to being in Iraq or Afghanistan, and being in the war, and getting our legs blown off by insurgent bombers. And that's going to change every aspect of your life, because you will no longer have legs, but you're going to have to learn how to use prosthetics, of course, and that will not be the same. Various things of your life will not be the same. Of course. So, looking at that, I mean, is there a way to still make positive value states out of negative ones? Is there ways of managing suffering? And I guess what I'm thinking is that it's very possible. It's very um, possible to manage suffering. I don't think it's always possible to turn a negative value state into a positive value state. I don't think that's always possible, but it is possible to make that negative value state just a little bit less negative, and move towards possibly having a positive value state in the future, rather than having one that would have been much more negative. And I think that antinatalists do believe this, to an extent, that they can, try to have as good a life as they can, um, but still, the pain and suffering in this world is too much for this mind to handle, so we shouldn't be having children. But I think that Anekantavad does go a little far in saying that we can always turn that negative one into turn that negative value state into a positive value state. I think that's a little bit a little bit far to go, but we can do things that will manage our suffering and make the blow less hard, make it a little bit easier to take, and make our life, and adjust certain circumstances more to our life. And I think that Gary's on one extreme, and Anekantavad is on one other extreme as well. So that's just, two extremes on two opposite ends. So I don't think that them arguing is really ever going to get anywhere. It's not going to get them anywhere. Because they have two opposite ideas about pain, suffering, and happiness, and um, positive value states and negative value states. So essentially, what I think is that um, it can be managed. Of course, it can be managed to the point that it's not going to be so hard, and that you'll probably have more positive value states than you would have in the future. But then, if you don't believe in God, then I think that being an atheist should automatically entail the antinatalist position, of course. Um, that the whole stance of being antinatalist makes your religion prior to that. That's just kind of the way that goes. Because if you are, most religions anyway are gonna be make you not antinatalist. Of course, I'm sure there's some out there where that would make that where it would work together. But most religions, especially the Judeo-Christian religions, of course, you can't be antinatalist because of God's plan. But if you don't believe in God, then that entails the antinatalist position. And also, what I'm thinking is that no matter what you can argue about managing suffering, or turning negative value states into positive value states, the um, happiness is a choice stance that Anekantavad says. Um, I think that neither of those stances can determine. I think a stance can't really, even if he could prove that we can always turn. Well, I guess if he could prove that we can always turn negative value states into positive ones, um, I think just because of the way that the world is, we still couldn't, we still couldn't prove. We still couldn't change, whether we should be antinatalist because of our religion, or not, or non-religion. So that's just kind of what I'm thinking, is that becoming antinatalist or not is based on whether you're religious or not. If you're theist, then most likely not. Atheist, definitely, of course. Atheism, in my opinion, entails antinatalism, of course. I didn't used to think that, but I had a little dialogue with my misery and me before. But yeah. So I'm curious on your thoughts on this. Do you think that which one do you think is more correct? I mean, I can we? I think that we can manage suffering a lot, but I don't think that changes whether we can be antinatalist or not if we're all atheists. So let me know your thoughts on this.